Mahomes injury confirmed. He could miss the Texans game on a short week, and we're going to talk about it. Good morning, Chiefs Kingdom. How we doing, baby? The Chiefs are 13-1 this morning, and I feel like butt, as you can tell with my voice. But Mike, before we get started today, let them know who's powering this live stream.
Yeah, head over to betus.com. Check out what they got going on right now. Shout out BetUS for sponsoring this, by the way. Right now, if you use code YouTube150, you get 150% deposit bonus match on your first deposit. Then on your next two, you're going to get 125%. These are up to $2,000. Take advantage of all the free plays. The site's easy to use. There's plenty of props. Go to betus.com and use promo code YouTube150. Steve, yesterday was a good day for the Chiefs versus the Browns. It was a good day on defense, I'll put it that way. We're going to talk about it a little bit, a little bit coming up. But yeah, man, you sound rough. What happened? You cheered too hard yesterday for the 21-7 win.
I did.
Like, what'd you do?
I was like, come on, guys, this is great.
Were you that excited that you thought there was going to be a blowout, and then it just kind of fizzled on you?
No, I don't know. But I tell you what, it was a good game for the defense. It was not such a good game for the offense. And it wasn't a good game for injuries because we lost Jamari Connor to a concussion, and we also have another high ankle injury for Patrick Mahomes. It's like a yearly thing now.
Yeah, this is the new thing with Patrick Mahomes. Ian Rappaport appeared on, I want to say Good Morning Football this morning. I got the clip. Let's check it out, what he had to say about Mahomes.
That's right. We'll start with the biggest of them all. Patrick Mahomes is believed to have suffered a high ankle sprain in yesterday's game. Obviously, exited the Saturday.
Steve, that's the thing, man. It's the Saturday game. It's the 2 games and now 9 days is what we got to play from here out. 2 games, 9 days versus the Texans versus the Steelers. The Steelers had an injury yesterday with T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt hurt his ankle yesterday, but it's not a high ankle. But high ankles are supposed to be worse than low ankles, so they're going to do some more testing today. We've seen this in the past with Mahomes in the playoff game versus the Jaguars. He was able to play through it, but you could tell he was in pain. And I know a lot of Buffalo fans yesterday, they said, oh, this is the time of the year Mahomes gets to fake his ankle injury. There's a bunch of slap nuts out there. The dude got completely sandwiched. But to be honest, this all could have been avoided. And so this asks the question, this begs the question, should we go ahead and just take a chance on possibly just losing the 1 seed outright?
No.
In order to help Mahomes?
No. That's my answer. I think you lost that ability to try to do that. Buffalo beating the Lions yesterday made it to where you need to win at least 2 more games.
Yeah, you do. Peter Schrager said this morning, you rest Mahomes the rest of the regular season. This was a bold statement from Kyle Brandt. I am stand back on Good Morning Football. They said Mahomes' ankle is more important than the risk, the chance of losing the 1 seed. I might be in that boat. Would you rather have Mahomes lock up a 1 seed but can't get his stuff together in 2 weeks and then he's just injured? I mean, do you really think Carson Wentz is that big of a downgrade?
Well, of course.
For 1 week.
Anyone's a big downgrade from Patrick Mahomes come playoff time.
But for 1 week, you think it's that big of a deal?
I just don't think it's necessary. We'll see where Patrick Mahomes is at. But here's the thing. It could have been avoided because they could have been running the ball. It could have been avoided because Patrick Mahomes could just get rid of the ball and stop stepping up and taking stupid unnecessary hits. I don't think it's a big deal. Like, here's the thing. Like, you don't want him hurt going into the playoffs. But he's done it before. Like, I don't understand. I don't think that you could risk losing the 1 seed to Buffalo, giving them a week of rest the way they've been playing. That's just wild. I think you go out and you win 2 of these games, you get the 1 seed, and then you
But
get
what if
your rest.
Mahomes isn't he's already struggled this year. And now you want to put a bad bum ankle on it, possibly? Like, do you even think he gives you enough? Do you think there's enough there that you even compete with these, or are you better off with Carson Wentz for a week? I'm just asking. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm just saying I don't know if it would be that horrible of an idea, but I'm in the same boat with you. I don't understand why you'd want to give up the one, but you're not really giving up the one. You're conceding that if Patrick Mahomes don't play, we're lost.
No, I don't think that either. Against the Texans, I think Carson Wentz could potentially win that game, right? I think Carson Wentz would look okay in this offense. I mean, he did in the preseason. He looked okay when he came at the end of the last game. A lot of playmakers, man. And we've been talking about how Mahomes just needs to chill a little bit and get the ball into the hands of his playmakers. Carson Wentz would do that, and he would get us by just fine. I mean, hell, we won games with Chad Henne, Matt Moore.
These are the points
you know
that the people are making.
And I get it. I understand it. But these are two pretty critical games coming up because, A, we do have to win 2 of these last 3. I think Buffalo would have to lose another one for us to get away with it.
Yeah, and I think Buffalo's getting ready to play like – I know their last 2 games are against divisional opponents, which we know
high
the
school
AFC
teams.
East are horrible. That's like playing like,
Yeah, but you got the Texans, which everybody's been talking about that matchup since last season ended, but they haven't been as good as people thought. They're still a good football team. And then you got to play the Steelers at Pittsburgh on Christmas Day. I don't know, man. I think you see what Mahomes does. Like I said, like they say, it's day to day. I think you see what's going on there. Also, I just think here's the thing. You can put Patrick Mahomes out there with a high ankle injury. They've done it 9 million times. But we have to protect him. And by that, I don't mean just the offensive line because they did an excellent job the other day. But I think you have to really think about your play calling, and you have to really think about telling Patrick, hey, enough of the hero ball. Like, quit looking for the big shot. Quit taking unnecessary hits and just get the ball to the hands of your playmakers. And at that point, your offense will probably start running better.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think they need to lead more into the run game. I thought the run game looked great yesterday, and then Andy kind of pulled away from it there in the third quarter. It made no sense. Mahomes wasn't completing balls. It just wasn't looking right. It was just odd in a way, but it's tough to complain. It was a game that was pretty much in hand for the entire time. So there was that. Like, to be honest, with most of these games this year, even though they're coming down to just one scores or one weird little toe tap in week 1 or whatever, I've not really felt super like shaky on the win. I've always kind of just felt confident that the Chiefs were going to find the way to win it and go on. But at some point, though, you are starting to play better and better and better teams. So Houston is a playoff team. Pittsburgh is going to be a playoff team. Denver is close. They're fighting for a wild card. I don't know if they're mathematically eliminated or not, but I mean, they're right there in the hunt. And then you're going to get to the playoffs. So I guess the whole thing is if you sit Mahomes on a short week, you still have a chance to beat the Texans. It is at home, but a lot of people are saying, hey, you don't want to set Mahomes on the last home game of the year. You know, that's bad for ticket holders. I don't think they care about ticket holders. I think they want to get, a shot at the three-peat. So it's just one of those things where if Mahomes just keeps coming out, taking hits, what if he plays? And Mahomes is a tough dude. I fully expect Mahomes to fight through this and play this week.
He'll want to play.
He will want, you will have to pry him off the field. He will super glue his cleats to the field. He'll do something. Mahomes is that guy. So I have no doubt that he will play if he wants to play.
Well, so let's look at it from a different perspective. What if Patrick Mahomes could benefit from taking the week off? A, for the injury, get some rest. But also, if he sees Carson Wentz succeed in the offense, does that wake him up a little bit? Because he's been a takeoff all season. He looks terrible against the Browns yesterday. Do you think seeing Carson Wentz play well in the offense kind of puts a fire under his ass and wakes him up a little bit? Maybe he could get, I'm not saying that.
Well, he's not in any danger of losing the job.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. It's
You're just
nothing
saying
like that.
If he watches Carson run an offense and take what he's given, but Mahomes is taking what he's been given all year. That's why he's a dink and dunk Pat.
But he hasn't. Do you realize how badly they could have beat a couple of these teams if we weren't taking 3 and outs because Mahomes was looking for a 40-yard pass when someone's wide open?
I mean, they've done that a few times, and a lot of that's play calling on third down and stupid crap.
I don't know. It's just something to think about, right?
It's
something to think about.
Very much to consider, and he's going to consider all this. I think that all this will be considered, but I think at the end of the day, Mahomes is going to be hard to not play.
Sometimes when you're going through something, or you're at a standstill at a job or a relationship or anything, Like sometimes it takes you to step back a little bit and take a look at it before you can figure out how to proceed, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like Patrick's been beating his head into a wall all season.
Steve, don't get deep on us now. It's too early in the week. It's too early in the morning. We can't get this deep.
No, but I'm just saying maybe he could take a step back.
Look, we can't
look
dive
at
into
it,
our feelings.
evaluate, and get out there and start kicking ass the way he can right before the playoffs.
I understand the sentiment. I think a lot of people have said that to us on X, different things. We've heard that a lot. We've also heard the opposite end, that Patrick should not sit. It's too much. If you just wrap up the 1 seed, you're going to get the extra bye week. But it's like, at the cost of what? What if Pat is a little gimpy this week and he wants to go out there and then he gets his ankle rolled up again, or God forbid it even turns worse, and you was to lose the dude rather than just take. Like, I just don't think sitting Pat for 1 week seeds the fact that we're going to just up and lose. I think it's a shot you may lose, but
Right.
We just seen it. If the Browns don't commit 6 turnovers yesterday, they're probably right in the game.
Right. Here's the thing. There's some guys in the chat, and no offense, but if you think Patrick Mahomes looked good yesterday, I don't know what game you were watching. I don't.
Patrick Mahomes, yeah, well, look, here's what I'll say. He may have looked better than he has in certain other games, but that's
I understand
not saying
that.
much.
He didn't throw any interceptions. He
Right.
didn't turn the ball over, but he also passed for 100 and what?
Yeah, it was like
90
100
yards.
No, it wasn't even that. It was like
150?
160-ish.
Like,
Yeah, the dude didn't even hit 200 passing yards, and he had plenty of opportunities. They were
yeah,
throwing
he
the ball
missed-
too much.
He missed a lot of wide open receivers.
Yeah,
I mean,
this dude was throwing them over people's heads. Look, you cannot say Patrick Mahomes played a great game yesterday. You're out of your mind.
That's wild. That's wild.
delusion. We got to stop with the delusion.
Yeah, we can't be doing that. What happened?
I don't
There
know
it
what
goes.
you do. There you go.
I didn't even do it.
You
Mike.
didn't hit the button.
We got a 15 from Leonidas.
Let's go, baby.
He says we need the 1 seed to beat Buffalo. I've been wanting to know how old is Pops. Yeah, I think we do need the 1 seed, Leonidas. I'm with that. So, I mean, if that takes Pat playing against the Texans, then I think if he's healthy enough and he wants to do it and he's okay, you have him play.
What's the thought on that, though? I want to say, are you guys saying that you don't think the Chiefs can beat Buffalo if we're not at home in the playoffs?
No, not necessarily, but I do think that
Then why is the 1 seed so important? Because we did it without the 1 seed last year and rolled through it. There was no problem there.
I think the Chiefs as a whole need some rest. They haven't had a bye week since week 6. And it's not just Patrick Mahomes. We can look beyond that. I think the rest of the team needs a little bit of rest too. So I think if you literally have to play an extra game, and you also have to think, man, the Chiefs have been grinding out every win this year. So if you look at it from the scope that's not going to change, then they're going to have one more week of grinding out a win against whoever it might be. More injuries could occur. Like, I think the bye is necessary at this point.
The Chiefs they don't care about this, apparently. Because Chris Jones had the most snaps yesterday he's ever had. We're getting ready to play 3 games in 10 days, and they had Chris Jones on this field for 94% of the snaps. That's the highest he's played all year by far.
Well, it's okay.
What's going on?
Because they're going to get that 1 seed, maybe, and they're going to rest him. You have to think, if they could just win Texans Steelers, they could get 2 weeks of rest for everyone on the team.
That would be 3 weeks almost.
Yeah.
Because you'd have the full. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, you're still acting like if Patrick Mahomes don't play, we just lost. Like, we don't have the same option.
No, I'm not saying that, but I don't know.
You're just saying that the odds are higher Patrick Mahomes plays will beat the Texans. And I'm saying I don't think it's that big of a difference. I do think that Carson Wentz is we may have the best backup quarterback in football.
Well, we do. I think he could be starting at a couple of teams. He could probably start at Cleveland.
And I think
Let's
with a
be
full
honest.
week to prepare,
But-
I think he would go out and handle the Texans. I don't think we'd have a problem.
Well, I think so too. And here's the reason why. I don't think he has to do anything. Like, is he in Mahomes' league? No. Absolutely not. Not even close. Mahomes is the greatest of all time.
No, but he don't have to be
Carson
a hero,
Wentz-
which is what you just told Mahomes to
Carson
stop doing.
Wentz is Prince Harry, and correct. That's where I'm getting with
He's
this.
Prince Harry.
That's where I'm going with this, Mike. I think Carson Wentz just needs to get the ball into the hands of the playmakers, which is what we've been begging Patrick Mahomes to do to get back into a groove. And I think Carson Wentz could do that. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. Appreciate the 15, Leonidas. Pops, by the way, is 65 years young. Born in 59. So, he's been around for a minute.
65. Pops, he's still going, working too much too. Who works so hard at 65? Like, what are we doing?
I don't know. I don't understand.
Should be retiring.
Welcome to America.
Yeah.
Perry with the 5 bombs says, I feel like you play him and win this week and then rest him against Pittsburgh.
But we have to win 2.
We do have to win 2.
So
but maybe I kind of see
saying-
what Perry's saying here. Though.
Yeah,
He's
I
saying
get
that
it.
the Texans are. I think what he's saying here is the Steelers at Pittsburgh's a tougher game than the Texans at home. I think that's what Perry's saying here. I think
No, Perry's saying the game versus the Texans at home is a stronger game than Pittsburgh on the road.
no. I
Well,
think
why
what
would you
he's
send
saying
them against Pittsburgh then? You got to win. We're in the business of winning here.
because you could beat the Donkeys on the last.
That doesn't
game
make
of the season.
sense. Then in that case, send them this week and rest them up, and then win the last 2. What are we doing?
I don't know. I don't understand it. I think you just play Mahomes and shut up. I think that's
I
what
think
we
Mahomes
do.
is going to play. I don't think Mahomes is not going to play.
I think you
but
get
if
him out
rest
there,
him,
put a
it's
walking
this
boot on
week.
him.
It's this week because even if you do lose, you've got a healthy Mahomes, a healthier Mahomes for the final 2, and then you just win the final 2 and take care of business. You get your bye week anyway.
I understand, but I think if they take care of business now, beat the Texans, beat the Steelers, then you get not 1 week, 2 weeks, you get almost 3 weeks of rest for not just Mahomes, but for people like Chris Jones who just took his highest snap count last week. Travis Kelce,
Look, I'm
who
glad
is
Andy's
literally
gonna make the
4 years
decision.
younger than me, and I feel like I'm old and decrepit when I get out of bed in the morning. He's playing football.
Yeah, I'm glad Andy's making the decision because I think no matter what you do here, it's going to go wrong. There's going to be a lot of
Gonna go
cheese.
wrong.
There's going to be a lot of people decide that that's a bad idea, and some's going to say
Yeah, I
it's
think
good, and
everybody's
then
on the fence with it.
If you lose the game, then you're going to say, "Well, why do we play Patrick?" It was the same way with Butker yesterday.
There's 900 different ways to look at it, man. Kevin Anderson with a 10 bomb says, the small amount of Wentz I saw, he looked more poised than Mahomes. I think Wentz can run the offense, and it would put a fire under Mahomes. He's a little broke right now. That was my point earlier.
There's a lot of
Kevin.
people
I
saying
don't,
this.
I don't think it's going to put a fire under Mahomes in the perspective of, oh, God, Carson Wentz looks so good. I'm worried. That's not it. I really think it's just a perspective thing. Like Mahomes can look at that offense from the outside perspective instead of being in the middle of it, and just realize that there are a lot of playmakers on this team. This is by far, maybe Mahomes is in the mentality that he's been in for the last 4 years, or especially the last, say, 2 years before this, where he had no one to throw the ball to. And maybe he's still kind of in that mind frame. Maybe if he could take a step back and look at it, dude, you have weapons galore on this team. It's insane, especially if Hollywood Brown comes back around Christmas time. I mean, it's just, there's so much. Just get the ball to him. Let him work. I mean, you saw Xavier Worthy yesterday. He's a rookie. Give him the ball. He made things happen. I mean, it's wild, dude. I think that Mahomes is pressing a little bit. Maybe that could help. But appreciate the 10, Kevin.
Yeah, appreciate the 10. Yeah, a lot of people have this idea that Kevin's got. Kevin's not alone. There's plenty of people. I think Pops has even been on the fence and been like, they need to play Carson Wentz a little bit, But see, that's the old school. There's a couple different thoughts here. There's old school guys who's like, Mahomes isn't invincible. He's replaceable. Nobody's irreplaceable. So get him out. And then there's another group that says, hey, we've got here because of Mahomes. Mahomes has always got to be on the field. He's your best chance. So there's a lot of different mentalities around it. A lot of people think hard coaching goes away, and a lot of people, that's why EB, and a lot of people said Matt Nagy's too soft, and that's why Mahomes. So there's different ideas and mentalities all across the board, and I have no idea what it's going to be. But look, Andy's going to make the decision at the end of the day.
Well, you know what? I think Patrick should make the decision.
Well, I think he will. I think Patrick is going to. You're going to not be able to get him off the field this week, in my opinion. He's going to play. If Pat decides he don't want to play, there's a serious problem there. And I think it might be a little deeper than they told us.
They were talking ankle sprain. I'm sure they'll do more tests today and figure out what's going on.
Today is more tests, yeah.
Right. But we've also heard it's just a bruise. Like, if that's the case, then...
What?
I don't know. I've read that.
Bruised it? Like somebody just went by and flicked him on the ankle and bruised it up a little bit?
So I don't know. Here's the thing about it, though. We don't really know the full extent of it. We saw 2 years ago Patrick Mahomes in a walking boot and then play on
after
Sunday.
The game and then play.
So, I mean, we'll see. Appreciate the 10, Kevin. HD Chiefs fan, our boy Kyle, says, I'm a season ticket holder, and I say sit him this Saturday, and I will be in attendance with the expense of airfare and hotel. So I have a bigger investment than most. You're not wrong, Kyle.
Kyle's going to fly in He's going to get a hotel. He's going to eat some barbecue. He's probably going to try that hamburger joint right up there next to the stadium.
I forgot the name of it, but it's
That's
right.
what Kyle's going to do. And then he's going to say, I want to watch Wentz. So if he don't care, I think it would be fun to watch Wentz. I don't think you're getting much of a downgrade there. I mean, there's a huge downgrade in the talent. Don't get me wrong. But as in running the offense and what we could see, I don't think your odds of winning or losing the game solely rely on if Mahomes plays or not, in my opinion. I know Vegas thinks that. Vegas, I think, is open. I don't know what the opening line is on that.
I think they have us as the dog right now.
That's what I'm saying. So they don't think he's going to play, but I don't think Carson Wentz makes you that much of an underdog.
He's not Mahomes.
We seen, yeah, but look, when he gets out there and plays a few snaps, he come in cold yesterday and didn't look that bad. But if you've got a full week to prepare, you seen what he did in the preseason where he knew he was playing 50% of the game every week. He was making some big time throws, and he looked good hitting deep balls to Xavier Worthy, and he looked good doing things.
People have a short memory, man, and I think people forget that before injury, Carson Wentz was an MVP caliber player.
Before he was the king of England.
On a Super Bowl winning team.
The Prince.
And then you take that and you put it, like, he's been through some weird situations since then. You take that and you put him with a Super Bowl winning team with a Hall of Fame head coach and play caller and a lot of weapons around him. I mean, I'm with you.
Is that a little scary, though? Is it scary? Like, if you're Andy Reid, is it a little scary to maybe play Carson Wentz? Not because you think you're going to lose, but because maybe the offense looks a little too good.
No, that's not a thing.
And then you say, well, maybe Kelsey's pumped. Kelsey's like, Carson, come in. I got 10 catches, 200 yards.
But see, that's not the thing. The way you're packaging it up is different. But I think that is a thing, right? And I think that's what I was saying earlier. I just asked
if that's a thing.
I don't think they're afraid to do that, but I think that could be what Mahomes needs to see with his own two eyes.
That look, if Carson could come in and be that good executing,
what am I missing? What am I not doing? You know what I'm saying? I think that could be.
I don't think it causes a QB controversy.
No, absolutely not. Not in any world.
But I'm just saying, like, what happens if the offense runs very, very smoothly, and you was to maybe even thump Houston after we're struggling against the Browns, and then you're going to get a lot of talking.
There'd be some talking, but that's just by a bunch of slap nuts. Patrick Mahomes is never. That's wild. That's crazy. But I think it could be a nice little perspective thing for him. KC Lion Squad with the 5 bomb says, have you guys seen Myles Garrett post-game interview? He stated that he overheard the O-line being upset that Pat was holding onto the ball too long.
Oh, I'm sorry. We've been saying this for 2 years.
Bro, he puts his offensive line in some bad situations.
Dude, we've tried to say that this happens. Not only does he hold the ball too long, but he will make his own pressure by running into guys.
Which is how he got hurt.
Angles.
Which is how he got hurt.
Right. So it's not – look, I totally believe it. But at the same time, when you block for Patrick Mahomes, you know that. But this is all coming from pressing the ball too much. He's trying to do too much.
Well, he's very indecisive this season. He's very indecisive. He's like, you going to throw that thing, Brad? You gonna throw it or you gonna keep pump faking?
You gonna throw it?
That's Patrick Mahomes.
Look, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's got some grace, but it's also you're an NFL player. You're making $500 million. At some point, you have if it's you have to assess that it's you, and you got to try to get out of your funk.
And I think he's professional enough to do that.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that Lion Squad for sure.
Mike, we got a freaking nuke here from Slow But Sure, baby. 50 bomb. So let's go, guys. Love the content. You two are killing it. Thanks for the gas.
Appreciate you, brother.
And thanks for the support. We appreciate
Guy or
that,
gal,
man.
I don't know. That's a inambiguous name there. Slow but sure.
Hey.
Most guys aren't too slow.
Hey.
You know.
Hey guys, show Slow But Sure some love in the chat for the freaking 50 bomb. Appreciate that. That helps the channel a lot. It goes a long way. Thank you very much for that. Buck and Bob take on Chiefs Kingdom podcast with the 5 bomb. What's up, Buck or Bob, whoever I'm talking to?
Or Buck and Bob. How about that?
Could be both. They could be side by side.
Steve, he said we rocked them defensively yesterday, but the score should have been 48-7. A lot of people are saying that the score.
Absolutely.
This just goes to show. This is. I mean, I'm sure you guys watch the games and different things and talk about it, and you can't just say everything's positive all the time. And it's an obvious thing that the offense is not keeping up with the defense. Even when people want to claim that the defense is struggling and they're not looking good and we got to go get a CB2 and our safeties can't guard one-on-one, we're not generating pass rush. Well, at the end of the day, the defense never has not held up their end of the deal. It's always been the offense struggling in the red zone, settling for 3 over 7, costly turnovers, and just not putting points on the board. That's what's caused every game to be tight. That's what's caused, all the disruption here is the offense is not putting up. And it was the same yesterday. If the offense had held its bargain, they had a +6 turnover differential, and they couldn't keep scoring points.
Yeah,
they
dude,
essentially
wow.
went 3 and out 6 times.
Could have been a massive blowout, and you have to think the defense played really well for being on the field as much as they were.
Right,
because there was a stretch where we were just like, what is going on
For every
here?
turnover the Browns made, we matched it with a 3 and out. Think about that. That is ridiculous with an offense with 3 Hall of Famers on there, a $500 million quarterback, and a Hall of Fame head coach. It's insane. And look, a lot of people, it's Matt Nagy. If Matt Nagy has this much of an influence and is causing this problem at week 15,
what's Andy
that's
doing?
on Andy Reid now.
Yeah, what's
because
Andy
you
doing?
would fire that guy, or you would tell that guy to go take a seat somewhere.
Right.
And if you're not doing that and you're allowing him, if I allow somebody to come in here and pee all over my furniture and then my wife gets mad at me, she's not going to blame the guy that peed on it. She's going to blame me for not kicking him out of the house.
And here's the thing. How arrogant do you have to be to think that you see something wrong that Andy Reid doesn't?
I mean, Steve, we do that all the time.
That's what I was getting at. It's just funny.
We do that all the time. Look, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have a show.
It'll be okay. It'll all be okay.
It's all going to be okay.
Appreciate the 5, Bob.
Appreciate
it's Bob,
it, guys.
Mike. Gamer player with the 5 bombs. Says I never in my life thought I would hear people calling for a backup to play over Mahomes, even if
Right?
it is Wentz.
It's wild, dude.
Well, I think it's a situation. If Patrick Mahomes was 100% healthy and the Chiefs were,
If he was 100% healthy, I
not-
don't think anybody's calling. I don't know. I'll take that back. There's a few people been calling for it, Steve.
yeah,
It's because
but
the
that's
offense is not
wild.
moving, and Mahomes has had statistically his worst season.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people just believe, look, you are Chief fans, 90% of you guys. Now, I know there's a lot of Swifties, maybe. Who knows? But there was 90% of you guys, and I'm going to go ahead on a limb and say 99%, were fans before Mahomes was here. You went through all the struggles. You went through all the greats of the Patrick Mahomes now. But you're going to be a fan long gone after Patrick Mahomes. So do you want to see Patrick Mahomes do well, or do you want to see the Chiefs do well? And I think that's a lot of the people calling and saying, look, Mahomes is struggling. Give him a wake-up call. He's not bigger than the team. And that is the side that's saying it. And like I said, I don't necessarily agree with it. But
That's a weird take. But
wait, I got a weird take?
Not from you.
My
just
analysis was weird.
No, the people that think that way, I think that's a weird take.
Really?
But I do see how, like, it's one of those things. Like, okay, let's just say you have a puzzle, and it's a really good puzzle. The pieces are
Not good
amazing.
puzzles.
But like sometimes maybe if I take this piece out and put this piece in, I'll see what happens then. Like
Might be the right piece.
process for elimination. Like, is this what's going on? Like, I don't know. But I still don't think that's it. I think the only reason why Wentz is even in the conversation is because Patrick has an injury. Yeah,
I just don't think the injury at the end of the day is going to be that big of a deal.
I think Patrick's going to play. I think he's going to play.
Can we talk about Chamari, though? I want to talk about Chamari for just
appreciate
a little
the 5 gamer play. Real quick, Mike, before we get started on Chamari Connor, just want to thank everybody for being here today, this morning, spending your morning with all chiefed up, talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. 13-1, a lot of injuries going on. So if you're just coming in, we talked about Patrick Mahomes' ankle injury. We'll be talking about Chamari Connor in just a second, and of course a bunch of other stuff. But appreciate you guys. Please hit that like button for us if you haven't already. Also, if you're new to the channel, you like the Chiefs, hit that subscribe button, hang out with us more often. Michael Flores says, hit that like button, ACU crew. Got over 500 watching. There's over about 700 on all platforms. So if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. If you're watching on X, share this out to your followers. If you're on Facebook, share it out to your friends and your family. Let everybody know where to find some good Chiefs content this Monday morning, baby. But Mike, let's talk about Chamari Connor.
Chamari. Appreciate you guys being here. Let's talk about Chamari for just a little bit. Andy at the presser last night after the game said that Chamari Connor has a concussion. He's a tough kid. He says, boy, I'll ya. So I'll tell you. That's what he's going to say. Somebody forgot the T.
I'll tell you.
He took a wallop, and he gave a wallop and got kneed in the side of the head there. Don't know why kneed spelled like that, but I think that might be right.
Mike, you wrote this, didn't you?
But he's doing well. Yeah, I was trying to blame you. He's doing. I think that's how you spell it. It was late, but he's going well now, which is the most important thing, and we should be good there. Read on Shamari Connor, Steve. So when we first seen that, did you think it was a concussion? Like, what were you thinking there? Because he came in with a huge hit, but it looked weird. Like, even when he was trying to like leave the stadium, he was trying to like wave. It looked like he didn't even want to move his arm. Like, it just kept falling. I was like, is this dude like seriously hurt? It looked like they were dragging him like Weekend at Bernie's.
He got knocked out. He got knocked out cold.
Yeah, this dude was Weekend at Bernie's.
Well, so when I saw it initially, I was like, dude, he just got knocked out, head injury. Then when they showed the replay, there was a point where it looked like it could have been a neck injury. It made it a little more scary. And then after you watched it a couple times in slow-mo, you realize he just took a knee to the head and it knocked him out. So either way, a little bit of scary injury, but I'm glad it wasn't anything crazy with his neck. But a concussion's nothing to scoff at. So, I mean, prayers out to Shamari Connor. Hopefully everything will be fine there. But
yeah, Andy thought it was not that big of a deal, but Shamari had a better day yesterday. I mean, I know he only played 14 coverage snaps, but Steve, Shamari's kind of been struggling with it when it comes to coverage because in week 12, week 13, this dude, he was letting up. I mean, I'm talking, okay, here we go. Let's just go back for a few weeks and look at Connor. Versus Tampa Bay, he allowed 3 out of 4 attempts to be catches for 18 yards, and he gave up a 25-yard one there late in the game that led to a late score. He gave up 3 for 3 on Denver. It wasn't many yardage, only 17 yards, but he had a 90% QBR rating is what Bo Nix had targeting. He went on 4 for 4 for 45, 5 for 6 for 55, 7 receptions for 42, 5 for 6, and yesterday he was 2 for 2 in allowing reception. So Shamari doesn't do a lot of like knocking the ball down or playing the ball or breaking up passes. Like, he's not that guy. But what he is he sticks to you like glue, and then once they catch the ball, he does a pretty good job of getting you down, even though he does have lots of missed tackles. I feel like Shamari is a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a good player, but I feel like he slumped a little bit this year over maybe some of his rookie performances.
That'll happen from time to time.
Which is completely fine. I like Shamari Connor. I do, but he has struggled. And I think the whole system with Spags messing around with the DBs and putting safeties in one-on-ones and dancing around that CB2. And shout out Najee Johnson yesterday. He came in a little bit. Josh Williams, I think, gave up four catches for like 40. Wasn't crazy.
He had a good day.
Najee come in, though, and Najee didn't allow a single catch.
Right, and thank God he dropped that interception on 4th down, because if he would have caught it, we would have been 30 yards
Right,
back.
It kind of sucks that he had the pick, but it was on 4th down. So
no, but Shamari Connor, Mike, I think you said it best.
Struggling with it.
Shamari Connor's been doing. He's been struggling with it this year, but that doesn't make him a bad player. I think Shamari Connor is a very good football player. We saw that last year. We saw it early this year.
Shamari might be the definition of when people say stats don't tell the whole story. I think that might be Shamari Connor.
Well, I mean,
perfectly.
I think he's a very L'Jarius Sneed-esque player.
Right. When you just look at his individual stats,
converted
you're like, this guy
corner,
allows 90% of catches. You
physical.
would think he's bad.
Well, L'Jarius Sneed did that exact thing.
Exactly.
And he still did it up last year. I mean, in his best season, he let up a lot of catches. He had a lot of penalties. He's very handsy. Same way with Shamari Connor. And also, I think he's just that guy, man. I think he's a fast. He's physical. He's somebody that you can mold in to a really good player. Same with Joshua Williams. I think they have those intangibles, and they can be molded into a good player. And what Dave Merritt does with these guys is do just that. So I think if you give them a little bit of grace, I think in the next year or two, you could see those two really step up.
Right. Well, look, I want to take that back. I said Najee didn't allow a catch, but that has been changed. They did accredit him for a catch. They did say now he has given up 1 reception out of 2 targets for 26 yards. So he gave up a big chunk play again.
That's okay.
I don't really remember it, but they scored him a 65. So he gave up 1 for 26. It's not that bad. In my opinion, if you give up 1 play for 26, like if you're a guy, if I'm a defender and you give up 26 yards on the day, does that make you horrible? I don't know. Like, I guess it depends on what time. Josh Williams stayed the same. They attributed him 4 catches for 40. So Josh Williams gave up 14 more yards than Shamari Connor on 3 more catches, but he had the same amount of PBUs. Again, I feel like Joshua Williams plays the ball more. You see Najee tried to play the ball yesterday, but that was just severely underthrown. Najee should have caught that ball.
No,
But
I'm glad he didn't
because it was
I'm
fourth
glad he
down.
didn't.
Yeah.
He should have just smacked it down to begin
Let's just
with,
act
so.
like he knew it. He was so aware that he was like, look, I'm going to
batted
catch
it
it. No,
down.
I'm not.
Let's
And then
bat
he
it
don't.
down. Mike, we got a 5-bomb from our boy Doug. He says, ACU, do you think Pat plays more loose while hurt and just do Patrick magic? Thoughts? I think maybe quite the opposite, Doug.
Yeah,
I think
he
maybe
might get more uptight.
I think if that's the thing, and I don't think it'll be uptight in a bad way. So maybe it's a little bit of what Doug's saying too. I don't think he would be holding on to the ball as long. Like if he really has an injury, like maybe that settles him a little bit to just get the ball out, get it to the guys that he needs to get it to. And then what that leads to, Mike, a good run game and just hitting the guys and letting them work, that leads to those deep passes where Mahomes could be a little more comfortable and hit some of those because his accuracy has been abysmal this year when it comes to the long ball. Well, I mean, I don't even know if it's just a long ball. I feel like altogether Patrick's just been a tick off with every throw. I mean, a lot of the completions that you see are the receiver catching the ball behind him. It's weird. It's very
He almost
strange.
got D-Hop lit up yesterday, wasn't it? Was
Yeah,
that
he threw
D-Hop?
that, yeah, he
come
threw
across
that
the
ball in a
middle?
bad spot. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a bad spot. Look, I think he's fine, but yeah, I don't know if he's going to play more loose or if it's. I think only time will tell. But you need definitely. I mean, come on, it's crazy to say you don't need Mahomes.
You do.
Like you do.
Everyone needs
But
a
I do
Mahomes.
understand the sentiment of maybe he needs some rest too. Like to me, the guy looks mentally drained. Patrick Mahomes does not look like he's enjoying the game. He don't
He's
look
working
like
on
he's having
working on them
fun.
deep balls in the offseason, brother.
Well, I'm saying this. And by the way, everybody that with that tweet, Steve, I pulled that tweet off last night, and it wasn't because of the whiners.
It was because people got disrespectful with it.
People got really disrespectful towards Brittany Mahomes, and they were even taking shots at Pat's kids. And it wasn't Chiefs fans; it was other teams' fan bases. And I
Right.
didn't have time to sit on there and block and edit, so I just deleted it. Okay, because the point of it was to make a funny joke.
And it was a
Look,
funny joke.
We made a
It
funny,
was.
humorous sex joke. Okay, that's what we do. We're children. But the point
Perverts.
is that we're not gonna accept Brittany Mahomes slander or you talking. You know what I'm saying? Like Brittany didn't ask for it,
Right.
so it's not gonna happen. So out of respect for her, it's down. But yeah, man.
Appreciate the
You know,
5-bomb, Doug.
Mahomes is struggling. He needs some help here, Steve.
Need some help. Gil with the 10-bomb. What's up, Gil? Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the support. And the KC Lions squad with a 2-bomb said Nagy is missing open wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. Fire his ass immediately. Well, on that note, appreciate the 2-bomb, KC Lions squad. But Samuel Shaw with the 5, Samuel Shaw, I'm sorry, says, can we talk about what Matt Nagy does?
So he's saying that Nagy's not the reason we're missing passes and the offense is looking bad.
That's
and then Samuel
100%
just wants to
true.
know what Matt Nagy does.
So what Matt Nagy does, and if I had to guess, because I don't know, but if I had to guess, Matt Nagy is the offensive coordinator. He's watching the other team. He's watching all the tape. He's coming up with a game plan for the offense. He comes up with this game plan. He takes it to Andy Reid. Andy's like, that's good. I like it. Let's roll with it. But Andy calls the plays. Andy calls the plays.
Well, I still think Andy's still in on the game plan too. I don't think he legitimately
Somewhat.
does anything by himself.
No, I'm saying.
Now, I do know
Now,
he-
he might
he
come
said
up
he
with it
likes to-
himself and bring it to Andy to get
Here's
tweaked or
something
whatever.
Matt Nagy
but
does. Matt Nagy goes to the drive-thru and eats McDonald's and throws it away before his wife finds out.
we know that. That's true.
That's
a
what
fact.
he does.
That's
But when
a
it comes to football, I don't know. Here's what I think he may do. I'm with you, Steve. I think like he watches some film. I think he finds, and Matt Nagy's, he's almost as if he's an offensive coordinator per se. Is that what his title is?
Yeah.
I'm just playing. Okay. He's coordinating. So I think that what he does is he finds who he thinks works in certain packages well. I think Nagy probably goes through and says, look, I watched a lot of film. A lot of 12 personnel could be good this week. And maybe he takes that to Andy. Like he's there. I think they bounce a lot of stuff off each other. I just don't think that Nagy is so much of a problem. Now, a lot of people could say Nagy is a big problem is because he's not holding players accountable. But at the end of the day, I don't think offensive coordinators are the ones that should have to hold the players accountable. That's a head
Right.
coach's job.
Right.
The same way as if Nagy is doing something, if he's got the full reins, if he's Santa Claus at the sleigh, and he's not going to he's not getting places in time to drop those gifts off, then that's up to somebody to fire him. And that's Andy's job. So it's still on Andy, in my opinion.
Yeah, appreciate the 5 bomb, Samuel, and the 2 KC Lions squad. But yeah, that's the thing about it, man. I think that he's literally just coming up with a game plan, right? And I think Andy has a big influence on that and also gets to tweak it the way he likes. Andy's going to call the plays. Andy's told us at least 3 times in the last year that he calls plays. So I don't know why we still act like that's not a thing. So who knows? And that's the thing. I don't think that the game plan was terrible yesterday. I think Pat had a lot of opportunities to hit guys and really blow this team out. And it just wasn't happening for whatever reason. The one thing that I would like to see, though, and this could also kind of go with Matt Nagy coming up with the game plan and then Andy calling the plays ultimately, Andy making the end-game adjustments, is we always get away from that run game. We always get away from the run game by the end of the year. Or the end of the game. Like, no matter how effective it is, yesterday we were 5 yards plus per carry. Kareem Hunt was slicing and dicing them boys out there. Isaiah Pacheco was playing well as well. And it's like, and then all of a sudden, up 21-7.
Kareem Hunt was
throwing the ball
himself yesterday, wasn't he? He was ready to play in Cleveland.
He was.
I think Kelsey was too. And I think Kelsey, we've seen some frustration.
Oh, Kelsey definitely was frustrated yesterday by bad passes.
I think he thought that he could have had a big day, and I think he wanted a big day. He wanted to show out.
Well, if you go back to every Travis Kelce big day in all the years of the Chiefs, how does he get a big day? He's getting like simple pitch and catch passes and creating after the catch. That's what Travis Kelce does. He's always done that. He was wide open so many times yesterday. So many times underneath. And Pat looks right at him and then looks down the field and throws it into triple coverage. So, yeah, I think there was some frustration there. And I think that's a good thing, by the way. I think that's a good thing. It's something Pops mentioned yesterday, too, and maybe even you, was just like, do you think Travis Kelce's getting to the point where he's going to go to Pat and be like, hey, bro, what's the deal? Like, what are we doing here? So, like, and maybe that needs to happen. I mean, like I said, Patrick needs a different perspective on things. We talked about him not playing this game against the Texans and getting to see the offense from an outside perspective. But also if somebody just comes to him, like Travis Kelce, somebody he respects, somebody that they've been tight for years now, and he's like, hey, you're pressing. You need to chill. Like, I'm wide open underneath, pass me the ball. DeAndre's wide open, pass him the ball. Do you think that could be a good effect on Patrick Mahomes' play for the rest of the season if something like that were to happen?
Yeah, it could. But again, I think at this point, to say that means that also that we think Patrick Mahomes is oblivious to his ass play right now.
Well, I don't think he's oblivious to his ass play, but I think Patrick Mahomes is. It is like
I don't like the way none of that sounded. I don't like the way anything sounded right there. And now that I said it, and then I heard you say it backwards. I don't.
Well, Mike, you don't have to take it that way because we know he doesn't do that.
Would appreciate us.
Okay, we know he doesn't do that.
Okay, yeah. Let's take a few seconds break here. We appreciate you guys. Check out this ad from Manta Sleep. They power the show along with BetUS. We appreciate you guys, and we'll be back in 1 minute. Today's show is sponsored by Manta Sleep Mask. You got to check this out. We weren't big believers in sleep masks. I thought they were going to be too big, too hot, too bulky. But Manta Sleep Mask changed that perception for me. These sleep masks are so comfortable. You can change the cup around your eye and find a custom fit. That way the mask finds your comfortability. With these pillows around your eyes, you feel zero pressure. And with a 100% blackout technology, you can go to sleep anytime, day or night, no matter how erratic your sleep schedule is. You can go with the sound mask, the pro mask, the silk mask, or just the sleep mask. You should go check out their website by clicking the link we have provided for you in the description below and read up on which option sounds best for you. But regardless of which mask you choose, use our code ACU10 at checkout and receive a 10% discount that we have secured through Manta Sleep for you, Chiefs Kingdom. Again, go to the description, find the link, find the mask you want to try out, use code ACU10 and get yourself some of the best sleep you've ever had in preparation of this long football season.
Mike, maybe Patrick Mahomes needs that Manta Sleep mask. Get him some rest. He said he looks exhausted.
Steve, we got about 15 minutes here. We're going to take this question from Chiefer. Is Tooney our new left tackle?
I mean,
DJ
honestly,
Humphries gets acquainted to it. I think they've done a pretty good job there. Tooney asked to play left tackle yesterday.
well, Tooney, that's crazy, bro. He wanted the matchup. He said, "I'll take Myles
He wanted
Garrett."
all the smoke.
He took the best defensive end in the league. Allegedly, I think T.J. Watt might be a little bit better, but we won't talk about that right now.
I don't know
Either
about
way,
that.
allegedly the best edge rusher in the league, and he schooled him, bro. He had 0 sacks, 2 tackles.
Per next gen stats, Myles Garrett only had 6 pressures on 24 matchups versus.
He might have had to
Tooney.
pull out the Three Stooges, the old
Right. So
Larry
24
Moe and
matchups
Curly.
did he go up against Tooney versus Myles Garrett, and only 6 pressures were given up. So that's a 25% pressure rate, which is good from a guy like Myles Garrett. But
absolutely.
compared to what we have had, and I think some of those pressures too was Pat just kind of holding the ball too long, which is probably why they said
100%.
they were a little angry. But yeah, Steve, in the last few minutes here, can we get back to looking at some of the I want to look at some of the snap counts from yesterday. I think a lot of people get intrigued by some of this.
We can. Real quick, I just want to take this from Buck and Bob, or just Bob. The 5 Bomb. Appreciate the support, though, brother. He says, going by interviews I've watched over the years, Matt Nagy prepares a lot of the game plan, but Andy has the last call. That's what I think's going on here, too. I think that Andy gets the last call on the game plan. I think he can tweak it if he wants, and also he controls the play calling during the game. So
he needs to tweak it. Here we go. Here's some of the things. So we ran 75 offensive plays. So, of course, the offensive line, Tooney, everybody played all 75. Shout out to those guys. I thought Mike Caliendo had a hell of a day to be the first time he played left guard. I'll have to go back and look at his PFF stats, but
he played
they've
left
done
guard
well running the ball.
when Tooney shifted over there for a portion of a game.
Right, but this is his first start.
Yeah.
And he looked pretty good, in my opinion. Of course, Mahomes didn't have the 100%, but look, Kelsey right up there. So, again, at the end of the
That's
season,
a lot of snaps for Kels.
in a game that we had pretty much wrapped up in the fourth quarter, Kelsey still goes out and plays 67 snaps. That's 89%. Worthy played 61. Justin Watson now has jumped Juju and DeAndre Hopkins again for snap count, which is just crazy to me. Like, Justin Watson's just not it. But look, I guess you got to rest Juju a little bit. D-Hop kind of went down. He only played 45% of the snaps. And I would say that sucks. Like, he needs to start ramping up a little bit. But at the same time, he's older. He's nursing the knee. I'm fine with D-Hop. In a game like this, I'm fine with D-Hop maybe only playing 45% of the snaps. And I wish everybody else could have come down a little bit. I'd have loved to see Noah Gray's snaps get closer to, say, 55, and Kelsey's got down closer to, say, 50. Somewhere in that range, to be honest, the way the game was yesterday.
The craziest thing I see here is Anthony Fursker with the 9 snaps.
Took 9 snaps, right.
What about that? I didn't even know he played for the Chiefs.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding. What is it with the random tight ends?
Yeah,
though?
Nico took 5 snaps. I like that. Carson Steele's down to 3. But I think the big one is getting over here to the defense. McDuffie and Justin Reed took 100%. Nick Bolton was right up there. Chris Jones playing 94% of the snaps this late in the year is nasty work. Like, this dude is getting older, and it was not needed. It was not needed, in my opinion. Like, you could have almost set Chris Jones for the entire fourth quarter. So maybe Chris Jones wants to play this much. Maybe he's going after incentives. Who knows? But that's just wild coming into 3 games in 10 days. And you're going to play that much. Josh Williams was right up there with 44 snaps, 71%. So he looked good. Jaden Hicks got a lot more snaps. He actually outsnapped Brian Cook, which is wild, especially when Brian Cook come in and got the early pick. He may have hurt something and lost some snaps there. I don't know. Dana, 38. Najee Johnson got some decent snaps. Turk, Charles Omenihu. No surprises there. I wish Felix and Udike Uzama would start contributing some.
Did you call him Udike? Were you throwing shade?
And Udike. And Udike Uzama. No. I like him. I wish he would come on. I just don't understand the 9 snaps. So
the edge rusher is kind of an anomaly, right? I mean, they traded for Cam Thomas. He's not on the team.
And they're saying Josh Uche's probably not going to play again.
Yeah, it's like that. I don't know if they know what they want to do there.
This comes down to the next point here. I found another quote from a fella that I think he works for Fansided, maybe Arrowhead Addict, I'm not for sure. But Matt Connor pops up with this. And he says, I don't want to assume disconnect to Arrowhead in any way, but this quote from Spags about Steven Nelson's signing reads differently to me when thinking about the way Cam Thomas and Joshua Uche failed to work out. Does this read oddly to you? Are there communication issues at work? And he quoted Spags saying, I talked to him about it. That's the Steven Nelson deal. I don't know how it all transpired. I didn't ask all those questions, said Spags. I'm assuming Brett just kind of researched it and it developed and he made a decision to give it a shot. So we'll see how it goes. It's ground level right now that I don't really have too much insight, to be honest with you. Does it sound like Brett Veach is going out and making these trades and these are guys that Spags just really, they don't fit his system. He doesn't prefer them and he's just not using them properly. Is that what happened with Cam Thomas? Is that what happened with Joshua Uche? Is it about to happen with Steven Nelson?
Well, you think if it happened one time, it shouldn't have happened twice. Like that could have been a point where two grown men had a conversation. Spags,
but it sounds like he's
Brett
not
Veach.
talking with Brett Veach. He said that he didn't communicate with Veach.
Well, that's weird. They need to fix that.
Andy's referred to that too, remember? Andy said if we get a receiver, it's up to Brett who he brings in.
Well, I get that, and there's also a chain of command, right? But that's where Spags goes to Andy, and he's like, hey, I don't really know why we're getting this guy that I'm not going to use. And then Andy's like, hey, Brett, like, let's communicate a little better. Like,
it's odd, but the question,
it's a fair question.
A fair question there. I will give them that. And there may be some communication issues because you do have to look. Why did we go out and give up something for Cam Thomas? Why did we go out and make a deal? And why have we relegated Nick Jones down to the practice squad and we pick up Eric Scott and Eric Scott can't even get off the practice squad and you move Nick Jones back to the roster and then he's back and you're rotating those two and Keith Taylor can't play but 1 or 2 snaps a game. There's just so many weird things on the back end of the roster, and then they go out and they grab Joshua Uche, which you think should be good, and then now he's doing something that he may not play in the uniform again. Like, what did this guy do? Did
I don't know.
Did he show up to a team meeting like buck naked and like fart the whole time during the process? Like, what did he do? Did he make wiener jokes throughout the entire film session? What did this guy do?
I'm not for sure, bro. Maybe if that's the case, maybe we should bring him on the show.
Yeah, he would be a nice fit.
He could be. He could at least click the buttons for us, so it'd be something like this.
I shall call you Boner Thorith. The mighty Boner Thorith.
That's what
maybe
Joshua
that's a
Uche
job
did.
for Uche, you know? I don't know.
Dude, yeah, so the snap counts were kind of weird this week, in my opinion. I think they're playing people a little, certain people. Chris Jones should not be playing that much. I'm sorry. But if Chris Jones wants to play, it's hard to get him off the field. And I think that goes to kind of like what Pat's going to do this week. One more little thing I wanted to bring up, and I've had this for a few days, and we just haven't really got around to it, but we've got a few minutes here to talk about it. The Chiefs' 2025 schedule has been kind of released, not the games individual, but we know who we're going to play. So home, we'll get the Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. We got the Texans at home next year, the Colts, Eagles, Commanders, and then whoever finishes first in the AFC North and the NFC North, we'll get them at home. So it's probably going to be the Vikings? And then the AFC North is looking like it's probably going to be the Steelers again? Maybe. But away, we got to go to the Bills again. How wild is this? Every year we play the Bills away.
They love
Cowboys, Giants, Jaguars, Titans, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. Honestly, the away schedule looks like cake because you're playing NFC East teams. And then you've got 2 AFC South teams. So technically, you know what we'll do against the Titans and the Jaguars. Somebody's going to have a clavicle injury in the Jaguars game, so let's just sit all the wide receivers. No wide receivers are going to play that game. And then against the Titans, Steve, you know how that works too. It's an AFC game. That will be the ugliest game we play all year. Guaranteed, hands down.
AFC South, baby. Well, we got one coming up against the Texans. So
Yeah, AFC South games are always the worst.
look, we got to shut down Joe Mixon, and we'll be okay.
Joey Mixon.
Don't let him control the clock on
Call
you.
him Joseph. I feel like
Joseph
if we
Mixon.
refer to him as Joseph Mixon, it makes
Mike, I
him
don't think he
proper.
deserves the respect to be called Joseph and be proper.
A lot of people are saying that.
He punches women in the face, bro.
A lot of people are saying allegedly. Wait, is it allegedly?
No,
thing?
that's on tape.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Not allegedly. Steve, you're about to get sued by Joseph Mixon
What?
for
Why?
slander. I don't know.
It's not slander if it's true.
A lot of people are saying that C.J. Stroud is having a really bad year this year, a down year, and that it should be studied. I talked to you about this yesterday, but we called this. we said that, look, I thought he kind of overperformed last year in his rookie year, but now that he's been on film for a year, it's hard for a second-year QB to not come in and struggle a little bit.
Right. I mean, C.J. Stroud will be fine. You knew he wasn't going to repeat last year's performance.
He's also had some injuries to his wide receivers, too. Nico Collins missed a few games. He went on IR for a little bit. Tank Dell's now out. So, I don't know, man. I think this is going to be a fun matchup, dude. I can't wait to jump into it a little bit more on Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah. Hey, well, back to what we were talking about. You know, I think at the beginning of the show, we're talking about Mahomes' injury. And then there was a poll. The question was, who do we start this week against the Texans? Do you go ahead and put Mahomes in there with the injury if he's ready to go? Or do you start Prince Harry Wentz? Mike, 74% of 300 voters.
They're not going to say start Wentz, sure.
Prince Harry Wentz should start.
Whoa, 74%.
It just went to 75%. If you haven't voted on that poll, please vote on that. I would like to see.
There's no way that 75% of Chiefs Kingdom right now is saying that Harry Prince, whatever his name is, Prince Harry, not Harry Prince. That's gross. Prince Harry is going to start.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to it. Honestly, I'm scared that if you play Patrick and it was to get worse, then you've got yourself a problem. And to be honest, if he don't play, that's a bye week for Pat. That's an extra week of rest. It's an extra week to get his mind right. Like you said, maybe he sees something from the sidelines that he's missing on the field when he's in the thick of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only positive I could pull from it. I think if Mahomes is healthy enough, if it's not a big deal, I think he plays. No doubt about it. Now, if it's questionable and he does need the rest, then I think we're okay with starting Wentz against the Texans. I think either way we're good. So whatever decision that Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, the medical staff, Bobby Stroop, if he has him doing some weird leg exercises this week to try to, work that ankle out,
but
whatever they
Saturday,
do,
bro.
I know
so
it's a short week.
We play Saturday, so it's a very short week. They'll start coming to the podium and everything Tuesday, so tomorrow.
The big thing here is you do need to win at least 2 of these last 3 games to maintain the 1 seed. And that's assuming Buffalo wins.
That's assuming Buffalo wins out, which they could always flop versus the Dolphins or the Patriots. Those teams suck, but believe me, it's a divisional game.
Yes,
and the same way Denver can play us close and sometimes the Raiders do, they can still do that.
They're literally playing the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, so they're not even playing the Dolphins. Man, that was the better one.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of got to walk in the park from here on out.
They do. Is it crazy to think the Pats are going to beat them one of those 2 games?
It could definitely happen. Maybe Drake May gets out there and performs some magic.
It just may happen.
Maybe they got the dark arts going over there in New England.
Can we give them some of our dark arts? Whoever cast a spell on us this year that cursed Mahomes,
right?
Sucking.
Gamer player with the 5 bomb says, I see Pacheco was fined $45,000 for use of the helmet. Trey Smith, $19K, and Juju, $7K for use of the helmet.
It's ridiculous, Steve. Pacheco only makes $48,000 a game. And
Dude,
that's before taxes. They took his whole paycheck away.
Get out of here. They don't want to see any real football anymore. They don't.
They don't. The NFL's unserious about it. But, Steve, this is insane. $45,000. I remember when a guy named Happy Gilmore took his skate off and tried to stab somebody, and he didn't even get $45K.
No, he got banned
Who
from
tries
hockey,
to stab? Yeah, they did ban him for life.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. What are you going to do?
Speaking of, when's 2 coming out? They've been talking about this for 2 years. I'm ready for it. Bring it on.
You got to work hard, man, to make a nice mediocre. I hope it don't suck. If it sucks, if Happy Gilmore 2 sucks, it's going to run my entire year. Whatever year they decide to put it out.
I don't think he would do it if it would suck, I don't.
But what he thinks could be good might not.
That's not. Adam Sandler's he's spot on. Leave him alone. He's a legend. He's a freaking legend. We appreciate you guys being here. Do us a favor. Hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already. Also, shout out BetUS for powering this live stream. Go to the description. Check them out. Check out Man to Sleep. And we'll see you guys next time. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.